Hello 544, and thank you for watching my mini autobiography of being a tech user. So here we go. My introduction to tech started in elementary school, and we all had computers like this one. This was one of the early versions of the Apple computer, way before the Mac movement, but that's another story. I remember rushing into the computer lab because we all wanted to play this. Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. I loved seeing the letters come up on the screen while I typed. Between this and all the right type, I was soon typing up a storm. And this was a screen I never forgot. 8 fingers on the home keys and thumbs on the space bar. With computers at school and my Walkman at home, I was happy with where I sat with technology. But things were moving quickly, and somehow I convinced my parents to purchase our own PC. Something that looked a lot like this. It was huge, but I was able to do everything I wanted to do. It was high school that technology exploded into my life. The internet was really starting to get going, and sites like Yahoo were getting more and more popular. After all, how much easier was it to research with a few clicks of the mouse instead of looking through piles and piles of books? Following this was my next big technological change. The cell phone. To my parents, I looked like this, begging for a cell phone. I needed to stay in contact with my friends, and just what if something happened to them and I wasn't at home? How would they contact me? So they gave in, and I got a phone. I got this phone. It was fantastic. The keys lit up, I could personalize ringtones. I loved it. The social butterfly in me expanded onto the internet, and I got ICQ, and of course, MSN Messenger. How else could I stay in contact with all those people I didn't even speak to at school? When it came time to go to university, it was time to upgrade. I got something like this that could handle a computer science major, and even shifted to a Discman. At this time, I was not only using the internet, I was actually creating. I was coding a lot. I coded things that should have looked like this. But to me, it all kind of looked like this. I still don't understand most of it. While navigating through computer science, I remember being happily surprised by my first iPod. I immediately spent an entire day loading music onto the small machine when I realized I really didn't like computer science. So I up and left SFU for UVic, and I ended up getting a laptop. I had spent years lugging my PC back and forth from the island, and my apartment was broken into and it was stolen. My parents decided I needed something more portable. At this time, I also purchased my first iPhone. Because I was continually plugged in, I also ended up joining Facebook. Partially because I was peer pressured into it, and partially because the social butterfly part of me wanted to remain friends with the ones I left at SFU. When my laptop finally died, I bought this, my first MacBook. I loved it. And I'm sorry, PC users, I have crossed to the dark side, and I don't regret it. I began shopping on eBay, and of course, Etsy. I was happy with all I had, but when I started teaching, I got the opportunity to purchase an iPad for professional development. Of course, I bought one. How convenient was it to have everything at my fingertips, and it even fit in my purse? The book side of me took over, and I ended up joining Kobo, and later I ended up joining Goodreads.com. But all this being plugged in was getting to me, and I found I was starting to drift to videos of dogs with mustaches or cats with hats. I started feeling like this woman. I was getting tired. My eyes were starting to hurt from staring at a screen, and I needed a break. I missed my books. I missed this. I missed feeling the pages in my hands and being able to physically turn the pages. But I didn't want it to just be one side or another. So I ended up starting a book blog, The Literate Panda, and my little space on the internet. This was something I could get really into, and I was creating something without the headache of coding. Years passed and my computer was starting to break down. I bit the bullet, and I bought the new MacBook Air. Finally, a laptop I could bring to work and not worrying about it dying without a power cord. I was fortunate enough to also get a iMac in my library. I didn't even ask for it. It just showed up like an early Christmas present. While I haven't added anything new to my technology resume for years, I've recently joined Twitter to keep up with the BCTF and all that is happening right now. I also joined Pinterest. Again, partially because of peer pressure and partially because there are fantastic resources for teachers on here. Through my master's class, I have become a competent user on Moodle and Google Docs. Actually, I have been online so often, I actually feel like this guy. But I have to admit, technology definitely has its advantages. This was a popular search of mine when I was TOCing, as well as many others, I'm sure. If I was stuck, I could hop onto Google and find templates, or lesson plans, or rubrics. I now had the ability to copy, alter, and print all these things for my own classes. On my iPad, I keep an eclectic mix of music for my students. When I remember, I do my best to keep track of my health. And of course, being the nerd that I am, I have puzzle games. Enough to keep me occupied for quite a while, and yes, that is a jigsaw puzzle app down on the bottom. I've been playing a lot of that. Of course, I also have educational apps for students who may need a little more help. So even though there are days when I feel like this woman, because the internet has imploded or something hasn't been formatted correctly, and I'm tempted to do this to my computer. Maybe because a colleague or my parents don't know what happened, we didn't touch it, but please fix it. In the end, I am ultimately grateful for technology and very much look forward to learning more about it and how I could use it to help my students' learning. Thanks you for watching.